हमें आंकड़ों की प्राप्ति के लिए इंतज़ार करना पड़ रहा है। जैसे ही आंकड़े प्राप्त होते हैं हम आप तक पहुंचाने की कोशिश करेंगे। ये जो आप ग्राफ अपने स्क्रीन पर देख पा रहे हैं, ये विक्रम डिसेंट ट्रेजेक्ट्री है।
September 7th, 2019. India and the world were waiting with bated breath. On the 22nd of July that year, the scientists at ISRO had launched India's Chandrayaan-2 mission. By and large, everything appeared to be normal, and while there was some anxiety, there was also a sense of confidence that India that year would become the fourth country in the world after the United States, erstwhile Soviet Union, and China to successfully complete a soft landing on the moon.
Taking greetings from his seniors.
My dear friend, today is a historical day for space and science and technology in India. Actually, it is the beginning of a historical journey of India towards moon and to land at a place near South Pole to carry out scientific experiments to explore unexplored. In fact, after that a serious technical snag we had and we fixed that technical snag, now ISRO bounced back with flying colors.
But when the Vikram lander was barely 335 meters from the surface of the moon, ISRO lost contact with it. This was during the fine braking phase, where the lander is already approaching its descent towards the lunar surface. To put it simply, the lander was moving at a speed far higher than it was supposed to during its approach towards the moon. What ultimately happened was a hard landing. The lander crashed with the rover inside it. As per reports, the Vikram lander's 5 engines, instead of reducing velocity during a process described as retardation, ended up producing more thrust than expected. This contributed to an accumulation of errors, leading to the lander making rapid turns to correct its course. It is this snag that resulted in the eventual crash landing. There was disappointment, a sense of despondency, and there were tears. After all, it was sheer hard work and dedication that had brought us on the brink. The sight of the then ISRO chairman K. Sivan with Prime Minister Narendra Modi is one that we will not forget.
Vikram lander descent was as planned and normal performance was observed up to an altitude of 2.1 kilometer. Subsequently, the communications from the lander to ground station was lost. The data is being analyzed.
साथियों, आज भले ही कुछ रुकावटें आई हो, रुकावटें हाथ लगी हो, लेकिन इससे हमारा हौसला कमजोर नहीं पड़ा है, बल्कि और मजबूत हुआ है। आज हमारे रास्ते में भले ही एक आखिरी कदम पर रुकावट आई हो, लेकिन इससे हम अपनी मंजिल के रास्ते से डिगे नहीं हैं। आज चंद्रमा को छूने की हमारी इच्छा शक्ति, चंद्रमा को आगोश में लेने की हमारी इच्छा शक्ति और संकल्प और प्रबल हुआ है, और मजबूत हुआ है, और दृढ़ हुआ है।
But space comes with challenges, and it is at the end of the day the ability to learn from past setbacks that sets one apart. And that is precisely the case with the Indian Space Research Organisation. So 4 years later, ISRO was back determined to complete what it set out to achieve. This time, the primary focus was, of course, the soft landing and ensuring there were enough checks put in place even if certain elements fail. And the stage was set. On the 6th of July this year, the launch date was finalized. A day later, the vehicle electrical tests were completed. On the 11th of July, a thorough launch rehearsal was concluded with the actual launch taking place on the 14th of July.
Sir, it's very fascinating to know that we are traveling over 380,000 kilometers for a third time. And it's a dream project not only for the ISRO but for the whole country. So if you could give us some insight into the goals and objectives of Chandrayaan-3, what we are working on.
Chandrayaan-3 has a similar goal as that of Chandrayaan-2, with some small variations in terms of the scientific objectives that we want to do. Last time in the Chandrayaan-2 we could not achieve the soft landing, and hence the lander and the rover, where the scientific experiments were incorporated, could not be accomplished. So this time what we are doing is those missions, those part of the mission is the focus, achieve the soft landing. Then after the soft landing, rover and lander will do the scientific experiments, send the data to us. So that's the primary objective. So and the orbiter part, which was launched last time, is still working very well, the Chandrayaan-2, and has provided information, scientific data, which is actually being used by scientists all over.
So, but I must ask you, of course, you must have been asked this question multiple times. After the failure last time, it must have not been easy on the scientists at ISRO. And, they say space is unforgiving and the margin for error is almost nil. How do you really bounce back from a situation like that, and what have you really learned from, the lessons that you've learned from that?
Failures are always difficult. As you know, there are a lot of questions asked, whether did you do it properly, there were any errors that could have been avoided. No, your understanding level, was it proper at that point in time? All these questions do come. And unlike any other accidents that you happen on a terrestrial situation, the hard landing on moon leaves no proof to us immediately. But of course, we can reconstruct through the orbital data, and what could have happened are scenarios that we find out by simulation. And the scenarios we found out over the last many years, and it has been a very tedious work.
No, it's going to be a game changer. I'm assuming and I hope that it will be a successful mission, because whatever is the problem in Chandrayaan-2, actually we are correcting the whole thing through a failure. From the failure we have understood all mistakes what we have done, and we have corrected all those things. So hopefully this will be a grand success.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
The spacecraft was inserted into the lunar orbit on the 1st of August, and on the 17th of August, the lander module was successfully separated from the propulsion module. On the 23rd of August, the big moment arrived, and Chandrayaan-3 successfully completed a soft landing on the lunar surface.
जब हम अपनी आंखों के सामने ऐसा इतिहास बनते हुए देखते हैं तो जीवन धन्य हो जाता है। ऐसी ऐतिहासिक घटनाएं राष्ट्र जीवन की चिरंजीव चेतना बन जाती है। ये पल अविस्मरणीय है, ये क्षण अभूतपूर्व है, ये क्षण विकसित भारत के शंखनाद का है, ये क्षण नए भारत के जयघोष का है। अब आज के बाद से चांद से जुड़े मिथक बदल जाएंगे, कथानक भी बदल जाएंगे और नई पीढ़ी के लिए कहावतें भी बदल जाएगी। भारत में तो हम सभी लोग धरती को मां कहते हैं और चांद को मामा बुलाते हैं। कभी कहा जाता था चंदा मामा बहुत दूर के हैं, चंदा मामा बहुत दूर के हैं। अब एक दिन वो भी आएगा जब बच्चे कहा करेंगे चंदा मामा बस एक टूर के हैं। मेरे परिवारजनों, हमारे वैज्ञानिकों के परिश्रम और प्रतिभा से भारत चंद्रमा के उस दक्षिणी ध्रुव पर पहुंचा है जहां आज तक दुनिया का कोई भी देश नहीं पहुंच सका। इंडिया सक्सेसफुल मून मिशन is not just India's alone. This human-centric approach that we present and that we represent has been welcomed universally. Our moon mission is also based on the same human-centric approach. This success belongs to all of humanity.
Let's relive that historic moment.
आप अपनी स्क्रीन पे देख सकते हैं कि हम
And all of India burst out in celebration.
When I say unbelievable, I mean that with the kind of budget what we have, with the kind of other commitments what we have, and that too after a failure, and that failure has put us into great difficulty, and then we are achieving this. So this is, in that sense, it is unbelievable. But it is believable because everyone in ISRO knows that it is achievable and they have achieved it. And how they achieved it is a simple matter, that every failure of Chandrayaan-3 was addressed to.
Going to be glued to the television this evening with my entire family, and I think what a proud moment for all of us to be watching the Chandrayaan landing on the South Pole today and with our children, and this is going to be a memory for generations to come and a moment to be so proud of. All our prayers and all our wishes and all our positive vibrations are going towards the entire team and to Chandrayaan to make a safe landing. So God bless and Godspeed, Chandrayaan. We are so proud of you already.
So Chandrayaan-3 has landed and we are at the BIT Patna, where you can see the energy, the josh within the students here. Everyone is clapping and shouting. Slogans are being raised of Bharat Mata Ki Jai. You can see the energy in the people. This is a time of pride for the country. Chandrayaan-3 has landed safely. All the students here, tears of pride are in the eyes of the students.
ये जश्न का माहौल मैं आपको दिखा रहा हूँ जयपुर से, राजस्थान की राजधानी जयपुर से ये जश्न है। और ये देखिए, रोशनी से नहाई हुई बिल्डिंग के ठीक सामने, चांद के ठीक नीचे, उसी चांद के ठीक नीचे जिस चांद का जिक्र लगातार हो रहा है, और ये चांद पर पहुंचने की खुशी और उसी खुशी में नाचते ये लोग आपको नजर आ रहे हैं कि आप चंदा मामा दूर नहीं है, आप बड़े बूर के खाने के लिए दूर जाने की जरूरत नहीं है, सब कुछ
Chandrayaan-3 was also setting a benchmark because it was the first mission that successfully performed a soft landing on the lunar South Pole. This is significant because the lunar South Pole is known to contain water ice in its craters and is known to be rich in minerals.
This event is very, very important with respect to multiple dimensions, directions point of view. One is, yes, we have shown to the world a historical mission Chandrayaan-1. A follow-on logical was a soft landing on the moon, but unfortunately we could not make it. So in that series, definitely it is time for us to prove, yes, Chandrayaan is not an isolated success. We can do it once again. Definitely this mission is called for. So the success of this mission will make a very big impact in the international arena.
It is also said that mountain peaks near the pole are illuminated for long periods, something that could be used to harness solar energy for an outpost. Indeed, NASA is planning a crewed mission to the lunar South Pole in 2025 for these purposes and much more. So India has led the way, and the data and findings that the Pragyan rover sends across to ISRO could be critical in how future missions to the moon take shape. This was in many ways a seminal moment, no doubt, and the key stakeholders involved, including renowned astronauts and also astrophysicists from across the world, spoke to Times Now.
I join all my countrymen. We are equally proud of being part of this great accomplishment. And thank you so much for your prayers and blessings. The rover coming out is a function of various activities that will take place from now. First and foremost is the inclination by which the lander has landed. We found that inclination is very benign. It is not very highly tilted. So it is very easy for the ramp to be deployed. Once the contact is established, we will get images from the Vikram lander that the ramp has been opened, and there will be other confirmations happening. So after this is done, the rover Pragyan will be visible to the camera. So once it is made visible, we cannot wait any longer. Then immediately the temperature on the moon surface will be going down once it is opened. So we see that temperature measurements are done on various elements of that ramp to see the temperature is not very high. Otherwise, we have to do some heating. And once its heating is over, the Pragyan lander has to be released from this location.
This is a historic achievement, not just for ISRO and not just for India, but for all of humanity. We've been dreaming of the moon, it's in our calendar, it's in our various faiths, it's part of humanity. We've been dreaming of it since time began, but almost no one has been able to actually get there. And to see Chandrayaan-3 succeed, to see Vikram touch down, everybody should be immensely proud and excited about our capability, but also how it helps open up the rest of the universe to us. It's a really watershed day in history.
India is now the fourth country to send a mission safely to the moon. And I think this bodes well for a future where the moon becomes part of the backyard for the entire world. 4 countries today, maybe 8 countries in 10 years, and maybe everybody eventually. That's just the first comment here. Second, the South Pole is an intriguing part of the moon. No one has been there before, so you're the first in the door. Future missions of astronauts, you don't want to haul everything from Earth to the moon to survive. And water, you can, if there's water there in abundance, you can drink the water. You can separate the hydrogen and the oxygen, H2O, separate them. Those two recombined make rocket fuel. So it's very likely that the future of moon bases will find themselves near the poles rather than anywhere else on the moon. What effect it can have on a population? I mean, we see it now in the associated imagery that you have on this broadcast, and you know people were dancing in the streets. It is possible for a nation to take on a large goal, a goal where if it succeeds, everyone feels like they were a participant. And this could be very uplifting for a culture, for a nation, for the world. And so I think these kinds of, this form of exploration is maybe even unique. Because, by the way, when you finally put in an astronaut into orbit, astronauts are some of the greatest ambassadors we've ever created as a civilization. Astronauts are welcomed everywhere. And when they speak, we are silent because we want to hear what they have to say. They've seen Earth in ways no one else has seen Earth. They've seen it from above, where national borders dissolve away. They see Earth as a planet. They have perspectives. So space is different from other forms of human exploration. And I used to think I was biased in saying that as an astrophysicist, but I'm not. And your video of people, as I say, dancing in the streets is testament to that. It was a successful soft landing. Congratulations to India. I bring greetings from the United States and surely from the entire world on this.
There's no stopping ISRO. The Aditya-1 L1 spacecraft, focused on solar or sun research, is preparing for a launch, and as per reports, we're looking at around September this year for that to happen. A mission to Venus is slated for the year 2024. The universe is the limit for ISRO, and India proudly looks on.